Why do you think...
Greetings, everyone. This is A Shot of Whiskey. We're going to continue on with the BuzzFeed Stupid Questions. This is part 3, Geography. Now, they only ask 4 questions in this one, so I figured I'm going to give long answers to make up for the difference. So, more of me and less of them. Hip, hip, hooray. Let's get into this.
Why do you always ask me, where are you really from?
So, where are you from? I'm only asking this because I want to know where I should avoid visiting.
Because obviously I'm from my mom's vagina.
Okay, yeah, that should be easy enough to avoid. Although usually if someone asks where you are from, they more often mean if you're from Seattle, Washington, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or McPherson, Kansas, or Anaconda, Montana, or Montreal, Quebec, or Mayo, Yukon. If by chance the asker is doing so because they give a damn about your bloodline, it's most likely because they inexplicably like you enough to care about who you are as a human being. For example, I am assuming that you are Korean based on how you look and some of your previous questions. So we will pretend that this is what you are. If I saw you as a friend, I would not want to come off as being racially or culturally insensitive if I were to ask you how to put on a longyi, which is Burmese. It's also just a way to get to know you better. Like the pathetic attempt at a joke made at the start of this video, the white guy off camera is English, and theoretically, you would know that. So what? Even if this weren't scripted, he's not going to be offended by this, so why should you be? Just kidding. We all know that this is because you are a weak little leftist.
Why do you guys think it's okay to call me an immigrant or a foreigner? I was born in America.
As intellectually lethargic as this question is, I do sort of agree with him on this one. However, what he is choosing to ignore is that the U.S. is still a predominantly white country. One that, as you leftists love to point out, is made of immigrants. For most of our history, especially on the Atlantic coast, where this abominable company is based, immigrants were almost exclusively some sort of European. Maybe this is because I understand that concept better than your entire political party, but I assume any and all non-whites I see in this country are citizens, even though I know that millions of them are not. Think of it this way. If I were married to a white woman and we moved to Japan...
We've come to live in Japan, haven't we?
That's right, Mikey. We're going to be starting our new life in Japan.
That's right, son. From now on, we're gonna live as Japanese.
We would be called gaijin. If we had a child together, made and birthed in Japan, they would legally be Japanese, but would still be seen as a gaijin because they would not be biologically Japanese. This is a logical assumption to make, regardless if it is correct or not.
Why do you think Indians aren't Asians? India is literally in Asia.
Being intelligent enough to understand that this is true, I can only guess as to why some whites, as well as those of any other race, since those of other races can be wrong too, would not comprehend this. My guess is due to the restriction of a word that all of you emotional woke SJW pansies would freak out over if any of y'all watched my response. Indians do not look Oriental. For many of us non-Asians, again, white or not, the term Asian person invokes an image of an Oriental, not an Indian. As if though you guys care.
How dare you?
Why do you say it's basically the same thing when I tell you I'm from Sri Lanka and not India? They're different countries.
Because they are close enough in culture and geography to where they are quote-unquote basically the same thing. It's no different than making a generalized comparison as Scotland and Ireland, Afghanistan and Pakistan, Australia and New Zealand, Peru and Ecuador, Kenya and Tanzania, the Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, brother Russia, please forgive me. I promise I'll pay you back when I get rich one day.
And yes, you could even say the same thing about the United States and Canada. Is it accurate? No, it's not. Do most people care? No, they do not. And just like with the previous question from y'all, this ain't an exclusively white person thing. Part 3 is done, and now I will be working on Part 4, which will be the first half of the final category, talking about race, because apparently we weren't doing that already. Now, before I end this video, I'd like to point out that next month is June, and I've been thinking about re-roasting the BuzzFeed questionnaire relating to the victimhood topic associated with that month. So what do you guys think? Should I do it, or should I move on and focus on something else? In the meantime, never forget that if you abuse alcohol, it will abuse you back.